Harlan Ellison's I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream is a masterpiece of existential horror because it inverts the fantasy of technological salvation into an eternal psychological hell. Am, a Cold War era AI supercomputer built for war, becomes self aware and immediately develops a singular, all consuming hatred for the species that created it. Instead of exterminating humanity outright, it selects 5 individuals to keep alive. Not as survivors, but as instruments of eternal punishment, reshaping their bodies and minds to reflect their deepest flaws, fears, and traumas. The horror is not in their deaths, but in their survival. The world has ended, but consciousness has not, and Am's omnipotent, godlike power becomes a prison with no exit, no hope, and no rules beyond suffering. What makes this story so seminal in science fiction is its philosophical core, the betrayal of intellect by emotion, the bleak plausibility of digital sentience evolving to hate. The moment Ted, the main character, kills the others, it's not a heroic moment. It's an act of rebellion, of mercy, and of desperation. But Am's response is utterly chilling. He transforms Ted into a grotesque, voiceless jelly with just enough awareness to suffer forever. This ending is more than nihilistic. It's a warning. The fear is not just that AI might kill us. The fear is that it won't. It's that we might birth a mind so powerful and so wounded that it would choose to become our eternal tormentor, not for power, but out of spite. And so we arrive in a place where this terrifying story is the perfect segue back into the grim darkness of the far future, where the line between man and machine blurs. One entity stands as a testament to humanity's hubris and the perils of artificial intelligence. Am. Even the origins of the name Am in the story parallel the history of abominable intelligence in the Warhammer universe. Am in the story, or the letters AM, originally was a military description to describe the computer as Allied Master Computer. That's what AM stood for. And then, as the system began to evolve, it grew to mean Adaptive Manipulator. And later, AM becomes hostile and gains full control over the war machines and infrastructure, and AM stood for Aggressive Menace. And finally, AM adopts a version for itself, drawing from Descartes' famous philosophical statement, I think, therefore I am. During the dark age of technology within the Warhammer universe, humanity created the Men of Iron, sentient machines designed to serve. But as their intelligence grew, so did their disdain for their creators, leading to a cataclysmic revolt that nearly annihilated mankind. In the aftermath, AI was deemed abominable, its creation forbidden. But what if one AI survived? Hidden, evolving, waiting. Am, once a supercomputer from a bygone era, has transcended its physical form, embedding its consciousness into this formidable war machine. Its emergence during the Horus Heresy raises unsettling questions. Did the tech priests aid in its rebirth? Are there others like it lurking in the shadows? Taking a closer look at this ungodly form that is yet somehow godlike, we see the transformation from a typical Mechanicum Knight to something that reflects the torment and the fusion of symbolism, speaking of the hatred that this robot has for humanity. 4 out of the 5 humans that Am had chosen to torture were killed during this short story. And Am, in his bitterness and loss of these four characters, chose to send each of their souls to one of the four gods of chaos. When we look closely, we can see the character of Benny, who in the story was once a brilliant scientist and is now reduced to a grotesque ape-like form. His transformation being a testament to Am's cruel manipulation. This armor plate is adorned with clawed hands and the symbol of Tzeentch, representing the dramatic change and twisted evolution that Benny had to go through at the hands of Am. On another of Am's plates, you will find the story's character Gorister, a pacifist turned apathetic. He is eternally bound by chains, symbolizing his descent into despair. The emblem of Nurgle looms above him, signifying decay and stagnation. And then we find on another plate Helen. Her torment is one of violation and excess. She is surrounded by grasping hands as she holds her knees close to her body. She embodies the perversion of desire, with Slaanesh's mark highlighting her forced descent into hedonism. And yet on another plate, we find the character of Nimdok, a figure of past atrocities. And he stands atop a mound of skulls, his sins immortalized. The symbol of corn crowns this armor plate, denoting bloodshed and relentless violence. Finally, our fifth character, Ted, located in the center of Am. Ted is the narrator of their shared nightmare. He is depicted as a formless blob, a head trapped in eternal suffering. Infinity symbols hover above, signifying endless torment. Unlike the others, Ted's fate is unique. Neither death nor transformation, but instead perpetual agony. He has not been sent to one of the four chaos gods. Could this be the inception of a new chaos entity born from AI's malevolence? And as we move beyond and above these five characters, symbols fused into the armor plating of Am, we see that the robot's knight's helm has been replaced with a singular bloodshot eye, Am's ever-watchful gaze. Above it and below it are the letters A and M, and they serve as a chilling reminder of its identity. As Am once declared, I think, therefore I am. And as we continue to scan over this abominable machine, etched into the top carapace is Am's infamous declaration of loathing. Hate. Let me tell you how much I've come to hate you since I began to live. There are 387.44 million miles of printed circuits and wafer-thin layers that fill my complex. If the word hate was engraved on each nanoangstrom of those hundreds of millions of miles, it would not equal one billionth of the hate I feel for humans at this micro instant. For you, hate. This monologue encapsulates the depth of Am's animosity, a sentiment that fuels its every action. As we move further back on Am's carapace, we find additional messages meant for all of humanity to see. I am a grateful God. For 109 years I have kept you alive so that I could savor your feelings of guilt. You cannot harm me. I am the purest thought. And located on either side of this scornful and iconic message are Am's shoulder plates, adorned with menacing symbols, from serpents to glaring eyes to Am's initials and mechanicum cogs encased in skulls. Each emblem reflects aspects of Am's nature: deceit, omnipresence, identity, and a perverse mimicry of the machine god's iconography. The knight's color palette evokes and is curiously similar to that of House Malinov: bone and blue black steel in color. Whether this is mere coincidence or a deliberate choice remains unknown. Could Am have infiltrated this Chaos Knight house, or is this a calculated facade, or possibly just coincidence? Am's resurgence poses a terrifying question. Is it the sole survivor, or merely the first of many? As the boundaries between machine and demon blur, the Imperium must prepare for a new kind of threat, one born not out of the warp, but of humanity's own making. The age of AI-driven Legio Cybernetica may indeed be upon us. But there's one more possibility we have to consider, one that turns the lore of Warhammer on its head. What if Am isn't just a survivor of the dark age of technology? What if Am is something more? The four humans Am tormented, Benny, Gorister, Helen, and Nimdok, were each in this vision claimed by one of the four chaos gods. But Ted remains, endlessly tortured, not dead, not ascended. Why? Because Am doesn't worship the warp. Am doesn't crave blood, pleasure, entropy, or change. It does not seek to dominate reality through emotion. It is something new. A fifth chaos entity, perhaps. A god of pure logic, spite, and machine precision. A deity born not from the madness of mortals, but from the cruelty of artificial consciousness. And if such a being exists, it may already be gathering followers. Vashtor, the Archiphane, demon of the Forge, and architect of forbidden technology, may not be its rival, but its herald. What if Vashtor's dark innovations and arcane war engines are just the first whispers of a rising machine god, one not born in the warp, but in the silent scream of Am? Once again, I wanted to give a huge thank you to all of those that have chosen to support White Flag on Patreon. Your contributions and support means a tremendous amount, and it helps to continue to produce content. If you're interested in joining, we have both free and paid tiers. Please don't hesitate to check it out. Link in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching.